First, sponsored by George Sink Injury Lawyers.
The time is 6:30 and thanks for staying with us. We're waking up to still some clouds, but the sun is breaking through. We have some really nice sunrise views out over the area so far this morning, and we are going to get sun and blue sky just like we have for the past few days. You still have to watch for a quick little downpour, of course, but honestly, we should all be looking forward to the rain because it's going to help with the temperatures. You know, even if it rains for as little as 10 minutes, it could drop the temperatures by 10 degrees. Today and tomorrow are the hottest days that we've had for the week so far. So anything that we can get to help with the temperatures, I think would be welcomed. But right now there's no rain. There's a couple of clouds, some low-lying clouds as well. Temperatures are starting warmer than yesterday, a 2 to 4 degree difference. Temperatures are starting between 72 and 76. The winds are still light out of the southwest, but even calmer than the past few days. Most are reporting calm conditions, so winds only 1 or 2 miles per hour. Rain chances are not huge, but the back half of the day you watch for the pop-up showers and storms. Temperatures are above average, 92 for Myrtle Beach, and inland is hotter, up to 98.
Hannah, thank you so much. And if you're just tuning in, well, here's a look at some of today's top local stories for you. Horry County Fire Rescue responding to a crash involving a vehicle that ran into a Dollar General last night around 7:30. Officials say it happened off Highway 905 in Conway. They say most of the damage was done to the door. Thankfully, no one was injured, and that investigation is ongoing.
An investigation is also underway after a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle in the Socastee area around 11:30 last night. Horry County Fire Rescue says it happened near Dick Pond Road and Socastee Boulevard, not too far from the swing bridge. We're told the pedestrian brought to the hospital does have critical injuries.
Florence County fire crews putting out a fire at the PD tank. Fire rescue officials say they were called to the building on North Douglas Street around 9:15 last night. Upon arrival, crews found the building engulfed in flames. No word on the cause of that fire. And Lake City police have arrested a 17-year-old in connection with a burglary at a T-Mobile store on Ron McNair Boulevard. Now, officials say it happened last Wednesday, but did not release any other details about the crime. The teen is now in the Department of Juvenile Justice custody in Columbia.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
The time now is 6:32 and traffic flows do look good across the region from the South Strand to the north end. Not really seeing like the most beautiful sunrise, I suppose, in these live looks, but there are a couple of nice views for sure. Getting very bright. 501 is still pretty empty and the swing bridge is still closed, so traffic is flowing over that nicely. Drive time is 8 minutes from Mr. Joe White to 82nd Parkway. No crashes along the interstate. There's a minor crash reported in Florence County just off the interstate. It's on West Lucas Street near Pisgah Road. That was reported about 45 minutes ago. A live look near TV Road for the interstate. Again, traffic is flowing nicely and it's really not too busy out on the roads. The drive time is 10 minutes from TV Road to 76.
All right, Hannah, thank you so much. Well, News 13 is your local election headquarters, and moving to North Carolina, where a U.S. Senate race may help determine the balance of power in the upper chamber. Former Governor Roy Cooper is currently leading in that race, but Republican Michael Whatley is gaining ground in one key area, name recognition. Cooper remains better known at 84%, but a new Elon University poll finds Whatley's name recognition jumped from 15 points in March to 53% in July. Whatley's campaign spokesperson says it shows their campaign strategy is working. Elon's poll director says that growing recognition could make the race more competitive in the months ahead.
We see a race that looks very competitive. That suggests to me that if Whatley is somehow able over the next 2 months to drive up familiarity and maintain the sort of split and familiarity, often leading to some favorability, that we might see a race that ends up being as competitive as what it was promised to be several months ago.
The poll shows Cooper leading Whatley 53 to 42% among likely voters. Elon's poll director says the next few weeks could be key because North Carolina voters typically don't really start tuning in until after Labor Day.
And the search continues for a missing Fort Bragg soldier. Specialist Savion Anderson has now been missing for 45 days. The 25-year-old soldier was last seen at Fort Bragg on June 29th. His wife, Jasmine Mowry, gave birth on Sunday to their daughter, Nadia. Mowry says Anderson was excited to become a father and should be holding their baby girl right now.
She deserves to have her father, and he deserves to see the product of everything he's been waiting for. Everything that he was so excited to see and to be. And I would tell him to come home.
The Army says it is working with local law enforcement to find Anderson and ensure his safe return. Well, one of the faces of the Trump administration is leaving the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will step away from her role at the end of the month.
Yeah, that's right. News Nation Washington correspondent Gabrielle Caracciolo joins us live. Gabrielle, good morning.
Good morning. President Trump calls her one of his most trusted aides, but Caroline Leavitt says she wants to spend more time with her 2 young children.
We have a busy day here. Rest assured, I'll take some questions.
The youngest ever White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is stepping away from the role at the end of August. President Trump writing on Truth Social, Caroline has been a real leader in the White House and has done a phenomenal job fighting for justice, liberty, and freedom.
You're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist. And
sparring with reporters from behind the briefing room podium, she's become one of the most visible proponents of the MAGA movement.
I'm honored to work in this job. I view this job as the president's spokesperson and the White House spokeswoman as public service. It's not just any job. I'm honored to do it, and I'm honored to work and speak on behalf of President Trump, who has faced unprecedented adversity and challenges.
In a post of her own, she called the role the honor and adventure of a lifetime, writing, "I have relished holding the liberal media accountable and ensuring the American people hear the truth about President Trump's successes." But she went on to say juggling the demands of the job with 2 young kids has been challenging. It says she will continue to serve President Trump now as an advisor on the outside. No word yet on who her replacement as the White House press secretary might be. Adriana, Jevin.
Gabrielle, thank you. Well, officials say they're responding to concerns about the mental health of crew members aboard an aircraft carrier in the Middle East. Last week, commanders met with family members of sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The carriers have been deployed for 250 days, including 40 days of continuous combat in the war with Iran. Families told officials morale issues, food and water shortages are degrading sailors' mental health, increasing risk of self-harm. Commanders say they are working to send more mental health professionals and other resources to the Lincoln.
2 people are dead after a military helicopter crash near Fort Hood in central Texas. The victims were the only ones on board, and this happened around 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. Authorities say no buildings on the ground were hit and there were no other injuries. They have not released the names of the victims other than to say they were both soldiers, and it's unclear what caused the crash.
There is $20 million set aside by Homeland Security to buy gloves for ICE agents that give off a shock. News Nation confirmed that plan, which was first reported by the Associated Press. The gloves, which are already used by some police departments and prisons, act as regular gloves until a switch is thrown to give off an electric shock. The maker says the gloves should not be used as punishment or on high-risk people like children, pregnant women, and the elderly. The gloves could go into use by March.
Alec Murdaugh's legal team wants his retrial held in Charleston, but state prosecutors are pushing back. The Attorney General's office saying Charleston doesn't work because of logistics such as parking and higher hotel costs due to tourist season. The state suggested better locations would include Spartanburg, Lancaster, York, and Florence counties. Murdaugh's first trial was held in Colleton County in 2023, where he was convicted in the deaths of his wife and youngest son. The retrial is set for April after the state Supreme Court overturned those convictions. Breaking a sweat and historic records. What new data says about last month's sweltering heat, coming up after the break.